The Republic-Lido War is a conflict that I've mentioned quite a few times in my fan-made shows like Star Wars Holdouts, the Imperial Survey Corps, and the Hand of Thrawn. So I thought it would be fun to make a video on the lore of the conflict and how I wrote the course of the war. I was primarily inspired to create this conflict from the Thrawn trilogy as well as the 1986 and other 1990s interpretations of the Clone Wars, which saw a clone army attack the galaxy before 40 BBY. Also, there was the planet Borovio in Season 1 of The Bad Batch, which I think could have an interesting twist to it. Diving into the lore, the Lido system and planet Borovio are an offshoot of Kamino, but they did some experimental and dangerous cloning. Lido sees rogue and mad Kaminoan cloners create an army of Sparti clones from several different templates who are paid large sums of money. The Kaminoans also have their lead scientist, Atha Prime, who is an insane geneticist that is guided by his ego to end up ruling the galaxy as a clone master, where his army and the Kaminoans would run his galactic-level science projects. Anyway, the Sparti cloning cylinders create clone warriors in a few weeks, and in 48 BBY, Lido initiates a war, but clone madness starts to take hold of the Sparti troopers. The Republic Senate convenes a secret session after these Sparti clones decimate various planets on the outer rim bordering wildspace. The Senate agrees to send a task force of Jedi and Republic security forces to the Lido system and to lead a campaign against the clone army, which their intelligence has reported to be pretty sizable. Additionally, the Republic begins construction of the Katana fleet of 200 Dreadnought-class cruisers for the war, which will not be complete for another 2 years. Senator Palpatine also requests that the Republic keep it a secret war, so as not to alarm the public, and therefore the increased defense spending is viewed as a wasteful endeavor. A full-scale war begins along wild space where Republic Marines are deployed with Jedi like Qui-Gon Jinn, Dooku, Windu, Sifo Dyas, and Yoda, but due to the Republic's military forces still being weak and there not being a standing real army or navy, combined with the Chancellor not wanting to preside over the first major war since the Old Republic, the Republic doesn't really do so well at the start. Keep in mind, this was before the Stark Hyperspace War, so the Republic's security forces are pretty inexperienced. The early war sees the Republic scramble for forces to maintain the lines in wild space as Prime's clone army devastates several planets and systems while the rest of the galaxy is unaware of the war going on. The Jedi Council, at the insistence of the Office of the Chancellor, keeps information about Lido's secret only to the Council itself. However, rumors spread across the galaxy of an invasion and threat to the Republic, which some dismiss as the Pike Syndicate's power in the Coruscant underworld. The course of the war witnesses Republic Marines besieged for a year on one of Lido's moons deep in Atha Prime's territory, which redirects his armies as the Republic makes strong progress in retaking worlds around and into wild space. However, the liberated planets had all been depopulated as Prime and the Kaminoans had subjected the inhabitants to mad experiments which killed them all. Kaminoans also commit bioterrorism when they hire Zeta Mangus to put a virus in a station which infects the entire Katana fleet, causing the crews to go mad and jump into a random hyperspace coordinate before they could join the rest of the Republic forces at the battle for Lido. Without the Katana fleet, the Republic is forced to hire Mandalorian mercenaries such as the True Mandalorians and the Protectors of Concord Dawn to increase its military strength for an offensive deep into wild space, to lift the siege and prepare for a final offensive towards Borovio, put an end to the war. With the Mandalorian support, the Republic makes great gains and puts the cloners on a great retreat as the clone army rapidly deteriorates due to clone madness from the Sparti cylinders. Senator Palpatine of Naboo takes a somewhat leading role in monitoring the war effort for the Republic as he sees both the benefits of using a clone army while also noting the mistakes made by the Kaminoans. He begins to outline his plans in secret to use a clone army from Kamino for what would become the Clone Wars. At the same time, Sifo Dyas recognizes the need for the Republic to raise an army for a coming greater conflict. The end of the Republic-Lido War comes on Borovio, where the Republic Marines and security forces, along with the Jedi Task Force and Mandalorians, launch a joint invasion of the planet to put an end to the clone army and Prime's experiments. In the final battle, Atha Prime is captured, and most of his forces are completely destroyed. While many are calling for Prime's execution, Senator Palpatine arranges for his banishment and exile to the unknown regions instead of a public trial which would reveal the war's existence and highlight the Republic's key weaknesses without a standing army. Atha Prime is banished, and while in exile, the mad geneticist plots his revenge on the galaxy as well as Palpatine for exiling him. He begins work on creating a new clone army which would take decades to build to prepare for another invasion of the galaxy at a more opportune time without the help of the Kaminoans. Prime would also additionally search for alternatives to Sparti cloning in an effort to avoid clone madness. The Lido system and therefore Bora Vio are completely abandoned as Dooku, Sifo-Dyas, and Palpatine each separately have ideas about the Kaminoan cloning to create an army. Sifo-Dyas would place an order for the clone army with the Kaminoans a few years after the war's end. Meanwhile, Dooku and Palpatine would then use the army for their benefit as Sifo-Dyas is killed by Dooku. The war in memory would be kept secret by the Republic and only be revealed by the Empire after the Clone Wars as a further justification to no longer use a clone army and replace them with volunteers and conscripts. Meanwhile, those who fought in the war are told it was a routine peacekeeping operation similar to what would become the Stark Hyperspace War. And that's my fan-made Republic-Lido war and an effort to help bridge the gap of discrepancies within old expanded universe content. What do you think of it? Write in the comments. Thank you for watching.